Good morning and welcome, and thank you for joining us this morning for this online Sunday Dharma service.
Amen.
Let's put our hands together in God's show. Amida's light is supreme in radiance. Thus, Amida is called Buddha, Lord of blazing light. It dispels the darkness of the three courses of affliction. So take refuge in Amida, the great one worthy of offerings. From Shinran Shonin's Jodo Shinshu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning. Welcome and thank you for joining us today in this online Sunday service, the first service for this month of August. As I speak, the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately, is still raging in many different areas of the world, in the mainland and here in Hawaii. I hope that you're all practicing the wearing of masks, proper hand washing, and physical distancing. I know sometimes it's very uncomfortable to wear masks all the time, but it is for the purpose of preventing the spread of the virus, and also it protects us and others as well. It has been a hot summer season we're experiencing so far, and definitely there has been a change in the amount of daylight hours as the days of summer pass by. Now, the sun is usually up by 6 in the morning, which is kind of humbug. I cannot sleep well in daylight, and so when it starts to get light early, I lose about 1 hour of sleep. I wake up, look at the clock, see that it's only 6 a.m., but can no longer go back to sleep. Well, it tells me to adjust my sleep cycle. Perhaps go to sleep an hour earlier than usual to make up for the early rising in the morning. It is humbug to adjust, but actually, I'd much prefer to have longer daylight hours than nighttime. Longer daylight somehow makes me less sluggish to get up and start the day's work. Longer, darker hours tend to make me hit the snooze button on my alarm clock several times before actually getting up to start the new day. That can be explained scientifically. The perception of light sets in motion the body, which has been resting all night, into the waking hour mode. Our blood circulation starts going again, stronger, breathing becomes more regular and shallower, and brain activity increases with waking up. In other words, light, specifically sunlight, kickstarts our bodies to normal daily activities. The artificial light that we use at night does not perform the same function of kickstarting our bodies to motion, but rather just enables us to see in the dark in the absence of natural light. Light is a common word of description or comparison in Buddhism, and it usually refers to the Buddha's light of wisdom that dispels the darkness of ignorance that is the cause of suffering. Shinran Shonin, in writing his wasans or hymns, praise Amida Buddha and often describe Amida Buddha's virtues as light. In the initial set of his wasans, found in the chanting book, Shinran mentions light about 12 times to refer to Amida Buddha. For example, light of wisdom, liberating wheel of light, light of purity, and so on. And on the sutra we chant during the services, the sutra sanbutsuge. Amida's brilliance is such that next to it, the sun and moon seem to be covered in black ink. Inconceivable to the ordinary human mind. In fact, the name of Amida Buddha in Sanskrit is Amitabha, which means infinite or immeasurable light. Why are Amida Buddha's virtues often compared to light? Because just like light, the Buddha's wisdom and compassion permeates all corners of the universe. But unlike irregular light, or regular light rather, the Buddha's light of wisdom is not impeded by any obstacle, and no hindrance can block its penetrating power. Even the hardest of hearts, the darkest of minds, presents no limits to Amida's light of salvation. Such is that light that penetrates through everything, so much so that nothing can hinder that spiritual light. Ordinary light is not the same. It can be blocked and prevented from going through when an obstacle is present. When such light is blocked and prevented from passing through, a shadow is formed. Yes? So, if Amida's light has no limits, no boundaries, and penetrates through all obstructions, then it doesn't form shadows, does it? The obvious answer is yes. It doesn't form shadows, but actually it does form a shadow. What is the shadow, or why does it form when Amida Buddha's wisdom light is supposed to be all-pervading and penetrating? This is, of course, a metaphor. The shadow is cast upon a person who has been illuminated by the wisdom light. The shadow is the person of Shinjin's true human self. When the Buddha's wisdom light hits us, we are made to be aware of our true human self, a self that is full of blind passions and ignorance and incapable of awakening to the truth through our own self-power. It may seem depressing for some to be able to be made aware of their faulty delusional self as a human being. But at the same time, by making us aware of the shadow of the false self, the Buddha's wisdom is also pointing us to our true, inherent, original nature, and that is where all Buddhas to be. So, light has come to represent wisdom, and its absence, that is darkness, has come to represent ignorance. The attainment of Buddhahood is itself called enlightenment. Enlighten, meaning to be made to see past the darkness of delusions and ignorance. Darkness, representing ignorance, is a source of suffering. Even if referring to darkness outside of the religious context, real darkness is a source of anxiety and danger. We dare not drive our cars at night without the headlights on because of the risk of hitting something or someone on a dark road. Even partial darkness can create anxiety in us. We could be walking out on a path on a moonlit night and see a form or shape that looks menacing ahead of us. Because we cannot see clearly and see what that shape really is, our minds start to manufacture things. We might start thinking a wild animal or a mugger may be lurking around the corner, ready to pounce on us. Or say we see a long-shaped object in the middle of the dark and think it's a snake or a python, again causing anxiety and suffering. None of these anxious moments would have happened had we been carrying a strong light with us that reveals that the menacing shape or forms ahead were nothing more than perhaps a big tree stump or an old rope which we mistook for life-threatening objects or creatures. Here's another story that illustrates how the darkness of not knowing one causes suffering. A man went hiking up a steep mountain and lost his way coming back. Unable to descend the mountain and reached the safety of his lodge before the sun went down, he was forced to walk in the dark with very little light from a small candle. Suddenly, while walking, he felt the ground underneath him give way, but he was quick-witted enough to grab hold onto a branch of a strong tree and hung on for life. Thinking that he had fallen off the trail and unable to see anything in the dark, he hung on to the branch all night, daring not to let go lest he falls to his certain death. And so he fought off the desire for sleep. He suffered immensely all night, in fear, cold, and hunger. But when dawn broke and sunlight started to dissipate the darkness, he noticed to his annoyance that he had been hanging on to the tree branch only a few inches off solid ground. He did not really fall off the trail. Not knowing because of the darkness that it was safe to let go of the branch, the fear of falling to his death made him suffer a lot more, unnecessarily. Amida's wisdom light, frees us from that kind of suffering brought about by the darkness of ignorance. By destroying the illusions of the unenlightened or dark mind, the Buddha's light frees us from the anxieties, the uncertainties of life, the fear of the unknown, of what happens after entering the great period of transition we call death. These are real fears in some people, and so it makes them avoid talking about it or unable to achieve a peaceful and quiet death. By the power of Amida Buddha's light of wisdom and compassion, we can develop the entrusting heart of Shinjin that removes all doubts, fears, worries, and anxieties of what lies ahead in the future. Freed from those worries, fears, and doubts, we can live our present life as authentic human beings, liberated from the bondage of blind passions. Our religious goal as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists is birth in the Pure Land, nothing more, nothing less. Like moths on a hot summer night, we fly around in the darkness of samsara, or the world of delusion and suffering. But when we see any form of light, we go to it in swarms. This is really our true inherent nature. We are not destined to roam endlessly in the world of suffering and delusion. But our true nature, our true goal is the realization of becoming Buddhas. The light that beacons us to the world of enlightenment is Amida's eternal light of wisdom. Let us respond to it by deeply listening to the teachings, gaining proper understanding, and above all, putting the teachings to practice in our daily lives. Let us always aspire for our rebirth in the Pure Land by facing the light of the Buddha and letting it permeate our whole being and provide the spark to ignite the potential for Buddhahood within each and every one of us. Let us now close by reciting the Nembutsu. Putting our hands together in Gassho, let's recite the name of the Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo 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 Namo.
Golden chain of love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to
Thank you again for joining us in this Sunday morning's service for the Dharma Message of the Honpa Hongwanji Hawaii Betsuin. We look forward to seeing you again next Sunday, and let's conclude the service with the recitation of the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Hello everyone, I'm Wendy, and I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to say hello to all of you. It's been such a long time since we've seen each other, and when I looked on my calendar, I think the last time that we were all together was on March 15th, Sunday at service. So it really has been a long time, and I think, as Fujiko mentioned, it was something like 20 weeks, well now 21 weeks. So I'm so happy to say hello to all of you, and I hope it won't be too long before I can say hello to you in person. So during that long time that we were in lockdown or stay at home, I've tried to keep myself busy. So during April and May, I was busy sewing face masks, and that was for our healthcare professionals and also for seniors who live in facilities like Kahala Nui. So that kept me busy for a period of time. I really have to compliment Tamayo Matsumoto because she was such an energetic spearheader of all of this. So thank you, Tamayo. And in May, we were busy with, and still are busy with, a special BWA project. In April, our Honolulu United Education and Membership Committees decided that this was such an unusual period in our lives, such an extraordinary circumstance with this COVID-19 pandemic, that we thought it would be really important, significant, to collect the reflections of our BWA members. How are they doing during lockdown? So we asked our BWA members, what's helping you during this challenging period? What are you grateful for during this time? And especially, what understandings or realizations are you coming to from this special time? And from the three temples, Jikoen, Moiliili, and Hawaii Betsuin, we were really pleased to collect 91 submissions. So 91 folks in our BWA Ohana wrote down their reflections, their responses to our questions. So Ruth Tokumi, who is our BWA archivist extraordinaire, and her assistant Penny Atchison, put all of these beautiful reflections, which included poetry and art and music, into these hardbound memory books, which will always remain our legacy of this time. And in addition, on August 8th, our Honolulu United will present a special educational program in which there will be a narrated video of excerpts of the 91 reflections. So we're really looking forward to that. And it's really pushing our BWA into the technological age because we're all forced to learn how to use Zoom to be able to access this presentation. So next week we're having 3 Zoom classes so that folks in the BWA can learn how to use Zoom so that they can see this wonderful presentation. So I've always said that that what really impresses me about our BWA members is that they are our biggest and best resource. And these reflections really show the truth of that statement. I'm really impressed with the resilient spirit and the courage I've seen in these reflections. Wow, I've really talked about that for a long time. So again, I'm really happy to have this opportunity to say hello to all of you. And I really hope that I can say hello to you in person before too long. So I would like to thank our ministers especially. One of the things that Our Lady said was that they really appreciated the State Association of Ministers who provided those Sunday online services for us. It was really like a spiritual anchor for us. It was like coming home on Sundays. And thank you so much to the Hawaii Betsuin ministers for continuing on with that. So we can't thank you enough. So until the next time, aloha, my warmest aloha to all of you. So bye-bye for now.